everybody. I'm Dr. Clinton from Still Standing, and we are here again with episode 8. So, this is a really going to be personal type episode because this episode is something that I feel as though is a very important topic. So, I wanted to kind of touch on it not only for women but the men that love them. So, this is what this episode 8 is called. It's what no one actually told me about this season in my life. And so, what does that mean? This is a message to every woman and to the men who love them. So, for me, when I talk about this season in life, I'm talking about a topic, menopause. So, if a lot of people don't know me, that I am a retired nurse and I am a doctor as well. I am not speaking as a medical personnel, but I'm speaking as a person that had experiences that a lot of women are experiencing. And so for me, I didn't really recognize it initially because, you don't know menopause until you're actually going through it. And now at 64, I'm 64 currently. So this started many, many years ago, probably in my 30s, when I didn't really first started to notice that I was feeling different. This was prior to coming into the military. So I was in my 30s, I had children, and I was recognizing just some of the mood changes that you have. I didn't really, sometimes I felt frustrated with myself, like I didn't recognize myself, or I just felt like not myself in my physical body. It's very hard to explain, but I'm going to try to do a good job in explaining it to you. And I don't want to do it from a medical professional opinion. I want to do it as what I experienced. And maybe some of you may have experienced this as well. So there were times when I was kind of sad. I didn't know I was sad. I was raising, because you could be sad for a lot of different reasons. Just your job, you're overwhelmed, you're tired. But I had bouts of sadness that I did not recognize. Like I could just start crying, or I would feel, especially when I was by myself, I could feel a little bit overwhelmed just with things that were going on. So you're constantly fighting that and kind of redefining that, like, just get it together, Leslie. You're thinking it's everything that's going on in your life, but there are some things that are just affected because of your physical state, and menopause is one of those things that I can retrospectively look back on now and talk about, especially since a lot of people are starting to go through this when I can relate to it because I went through it as well. So you feel confused at times. You don't, nobody kind of warned me that, hey, this is going to be something you're going to experience. So for the women who feel like you're losing yourself, you're like, what in the world is happening to me? What's going on? Well, this is a challenging time for a lot of you because at some point you start to give up. You lose hope and you just feel like, you know what, I really don't care. You don't know why you don't care. That's the funny part about it. But you just feel like you're tired of what people think. You're even tired of thinking about it yourself. You just, you don't care what's going on around you. And for the men that love us, please understand that it's not directly related to you. Some things will be. But for the most part, we're experiencing something different in our lives that we're not used to, and hormonal changes can really affect women differently. So, I do advise for you to take a look with your family physician and all, that understand that this is a life change that women go through as they mature, and I call it maturing as they get older. So please understand that and then support them through this time. So I have some things that I kind of jotted down that to kind of remind me of certain points that I want to make. So for me, I was always an athlete. I was always a go-getter, and I had a lot of confidence later in life, not early. But I was a go-getter, like I'm gonna keep going, and I had a lot of confidence. And then I got to a point where in my late 30s that things weren't going as well as I hoped, and I wasn't getting going as fast as I wanted to. So I had some setbacks, and this kind of added to what was going on in my life as well, these changes. And it exasperated it. It made it seem even worse. By the time I was trying to join the military, I was just in a panic and just trying to get things done. And so I had to kind of zero in to execute. And so you forget about what you need. You forget about what you want and what's important to you. So I suggest for women that are going through these changes now that you actually stop and take time to see what's happening with me and what do I need to do, because it's mind, body, and soul. It's great to have goals and to go off and to want to do wonderful things, and I cheer everybody on for that. You can do it. But part of it is also your physical well-being and your mental well-being, your peace of mind. And so Still Standing is a holistic podcast where we're working on not only the things that we want to try to do in our lives for ourselves and family, but also our physical well-being in the process. So you have to learn how to stop and just take a break, and it's okay for you to just, see what you need for yourself. So I wrote down a couple of things. So one of the things that I feel bad about that when you're frustrated, it wasn't that I wasn't just hot. I was like angry. I would have these nice sweats. I would be sweating. I would feel hot, and then the next minute I'm cold, and I would have the air conditioner on, and then I would have the heat on, and I have a blanket on, and it's just like a roller coaster. Like, what in the world? Like, what's going on? And you talk to your doctor about it, or you talk to somebody about it, and sometimes they may say, well, you're still young, or you may be going through premenopause, or you may be having these hormonal changes. But a lot of times they treat the symptoms, but the emotional part of it still is there, and so you kind of struggle with that. Sometimes I just felt overtired, and like I said, I'd be feeling like I was grieving and sad, and I didn't know why. I didn't know why. If I could be watching a movie and I would start crying, or I could just start crying, just because something moved me in a way that I would just feel upset about it. And then also there's the physical changes in your body. And this is something that people don't talk about much, but really, your skin gets dry. Everything feels dry, And as a woman, you just feel like, what's happening? I never had this, any problems like that. And, you're just trying to figure out, you're running to the health food store, and you're trying to figure out why your body and your skin feels like it's changing. But a lot of it has to do with this actual process. And if you don't know what I mean, menopause changes everything, including in your body, your emotions, and your spirit. So you need to know, let's make sure we understand that. Menopause changes your body, your physical body, your emotions, and your spirit. They're all connected. So it's important to understand that there's not one thing happening without another. They're probably all happening at different points and simultaneously. So keep that in mind. And there's no way that anybody can do to kind of prepare you for that. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know, but I survived it. So here I am at 64, and I'm trying to still muddle through some things, but I realized that I could not win that battle. I had to learn how to survive it. And I did. And I am. And I will. I've been through the premenopause. I've been through the menopause. And I'm at postmenopause. And I've been through the waves in the sea. I was unstable in all my ways, emotionally and everything. I've been through it. And I want to encourage you, because you will survive that. And it doesn't feel like will, and sometimes even your spouse might not think that you will. But what you need more than anything is support. You need to find the help that you need, and you need to work through some of the symptoms that you're having that kind of have you feeling in this blah state where you feel like you're stuck and you just don't care. You know, throw your hands up in the air, exasperated. All of those things mean something. So here's some. Here I have some scriptures because you know I love to give you some scriptures. You know I'm gonna do it. You know I'm gonna do it. Okay. So let's talk about them. And if you don't know here's one of them. Psalms 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Now that's for your spirit. That's for the way how you feel like you just feel like you're not yourself anymore. If your spirit has ever felt crushed by this change and you just feel like I've given up, I just don't know what to do anymore. That scripture, that's your lifeline scripture. That's the first one. That's your spirit. Then also let me tell you that God didn't abandon me in my season. You know, sometimes I was just reading scripture and crying and journaling and writing down things, trying to get through it. And, you know, God brought me a lot of peace and brought me a lot of heartfelt change. And it wasn't because of pills or prescriptions. It was just because of me taking that time just to kind of see what was going on. I had to learn that healing isn't just physical, but it's also emotional, spiritual, and hormonal and relational. Healing is all of those things. It really is. The second scripture that I wanted to tell you about is Isaiah 46:4. Now listen, this is one of my favorite ones. Even to your old age and gray hairs that I am he. I am he who will sustain you. Well, that's encouraging. I made you and I will carry you, and I will sustain you and I will rescue you. I want you and your loved one who loves you, there's people that love you and care about you, to know that through this challenge in your life that's not like anything else that you'll go through in your lifetime. It really isn't. It's unique to you. And it's something we're all going to experience in aging. It's something we all will experience at some point, male and female, different things that we have to learn that, you know, this is part of our journey that is unknown to us. And we need to talk more about it and support one another. Even in this, God says, I will carry you. Through the night sweats, he's going to carry you. The doubt, the silence, you're not alone. And even, and I want every woman to know this, and you're not crazy. And you're definitely not broken, and you're not done. You're not done. It's not over for you. You know, that's it. I'm old now, because if I believed that, I would have given up a long time ago. But I haven't. The third scripture is Romans 8:28. And it says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. Even this confusion, emotional storm, it will be used for your good. When you don't know what's going on, God will carry you through those circumstances. You won't even know how you got through them. But there's something very powerful about prayer and humbling yourself. Like, I don't know what's happening in my life. I don't know what's happening to my body. I don't know what's happening to my mind. I feel like I'm going crazy. I don't know what's happening. And I just feel defeated. I don't feel like vibrant like I was. But that's just not true. It's just a season that you're going through of change that is difficult to understand. And if you've been through this, or you're in it right now, you know, just drop a message, share what you're experiencing and what you've been going through. Tag one of your sisters, you know, share it with your loved one or your spouse or something, so that they can have an understanding that this isn't something wrong with you. It's something that's unknown to you, something that you're going through and that you're experiencing. And to the men, please don't scroll past this. You know, I am a woman that has gone through all three stages of this challenge that a lot of women are going through, especially in their 30s, some, you know, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and into their 60s. And that's me. And so I can share my story with you, and you might recognize this in your loved one, but, you know, have that grace for them and understanding for them. Listen, learn, and love them better and be understanding. They're already feeling some kind of a way. They're already feeling down and out, and they're already feeling defeated. But your job and our job is to work together, lift them up in a time that they need it most in their lives, in this journey. So let's not normalize this journey. Let's normalize the journey. Let's love each other through the change. We're changing. I'm sorry. It's true. We can't change that we're changing, but we can love better and be better to each other through the change. So this is Still Standing, for the faithful, for the fighters, and for the rising. And just know that I am still standing with you. I'm Dr. Leslie Curtis Glenn from Still Standing. I love you guys, and I hope that we can begin this discussion. Please go to Still Standing. I'm on YouTube on episode 8. We're doing a special episode about this unknown challenge, the challenge that women have going through menopause and the changes and the people and the men that love them. Thank you for being a part of Still Standing, and I'll see you at episode 8. Until next time, bye.